You've heard the stories, whispers of martial arts techniques so deadly they were practically erased from history, legends of a single touch that could stop a heart, or a move that could shatter bone in a blink. But are they just stories? What if some of them were real? Today we're peeling back the veil of myth to look at the brutal reality of 10 techniques that were hidden, banned, and passed down in secret for generations. These are the moves that masters hoped would be forgotten, and for some very good reasons. Martial might, where warriors live forever. First on our list is a technique steeped in terror and myth, Dim Mak, the legendary touch of death. Originating from Chinese martial arts, Dim Mak isn't about brute force. It's the art of striking specific vital points to disrupt the body's energy flow, or qi. The legends claim a master could use a light touch to cause paralysis, organ failure, or even a delayed death days or weeks later. So, let's separate fact from wuxia fiction. The idea of a magical, instant-kill touch is just that, fiction. However, the core concept has a frightening basis in reality. A precise, forceful strike to a vulnerable area, like the temple or a major artery, can absolutely be fatal. Think of it as a highly sophisticated form of pressure point fighting, where deep anatomical knowledge is the true weapon. The real secret of Dim Mak isn't magic. It's a terrifyingly precise understanding of the human body's weakest points. At number 9, we have something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Nerve strikes. Practiced in various forms across Okinawan karate and other systems, these techniques are designed to do exactly what the name implies. Target major nerve clusters to temporarily shut down a limb. This isn't about some widespread, destructive kick. It's a pinpoint weapon. A practitioner could use a sharp, focused strike with their knuckles to hit a nerve like the brachial plexus in the shoulder or the perineal nerve on the thigh. The shock to the nervous system can cause intense pain, numbness, and a loss of motor control, effectively making an arm or leg useless, while the idea of causing instant, full-body paralysis is an exaggeration. The ability to disable a limb with a single, well-placed strike is very real. It's a primary reason these attacks are forbidden in sports. They aren't for scoring points, they're for ending a fight. Coming in at number 8 is a technique that links physical power to an internal, unseen force. The Shaolin breath control strike, developed by monks. This isn't just a punch, it's a weaponized exhalation. The principle is based on coordinating a powerful strike with a sharp, focused release of breath, allowing the practitioner to generate an explosive amount of force into a single point of impact. The targets were often the solar plexus or floating ribs, areas that, if struck with that kind of concussive force, could violently expel the air from an opponent's lungs and potentially cause systemic shock. Monks who mastered breath control for meditation turned this skill into a formidable defensive tool. It was considered forbidden because its mastery was tied to a deep internal discipline passed only to the most trusted students. The secret wasn't just the punch, but the traditional concept of life force or qi that powered it. Number 7 is simple, brutal, and universally feared: eye gouging. There's no complex theory here, just the cold, hard reality of a fight for survival. This technique has existed in almost every combat system, from the ancient Greek sport of pankration to modern self-defense. Pankration, one of the original Olympic combat sports introduced in 648 BCE, was a brutal mix of boxing and wrestling, where almost anything was allowed. The main rules: no biting and no eye gouging. The reason for the ban is obvious. The eyes are one of the most vulnerable targets on the body. An attack can cause excruciating pain and permanent blindness, completely incapacitating an opponent regardless of their size. While some stories suggest Spartan warriors were an exception, most historical sources agree that in organized competitions, this was a line you just didn't cross. Today it's banned from every combat sport on the planet. At number 6, we have a technique that proves you don't need immense power to cause incredible damage. Small joint manipulation, practiced in arts like traditional jujutsu and hapkido. This technique focuses on the body's smallest and most fragile joints, the fingers, thumbs, and toes. While a wrist lock or an armbar gives an opponent a chance to tap out, a finger lock offers no such luxury. These joints simply aren't designed to withstand significant pressure, and it takes very little leverage to hyperextend or break them. A practitioner could grab an opponent's pinky finger and with a quick, sharp movement, easily snap the bone. Because these attacks are so easy to apply and cause such debilitating and often permanent injury, they're banned in almost every major combat sport, including judo, BJJ, and MMA. We're halfway through and we've already uncovered some seriously guarded techniques. These moves blur the line between self-defense and outright destruction. So, I have to ask, which of these would you want to know in a real survival situation? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this trip into the dark side of martial arts, do us a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's next. Kicking off the second half at number 5 is the infamous Kani Basami, or the flying scissors takedown, found in early judo. This devastating move involves the attacker leaping at the opponent and wrapping their legs around the target's legs in a scissoring motion. One leg sweeps behind the knees while the other strikes the thigh, creating immense rotational force that sends the opponent crashing down. The problem: that same force is applied directly to the knee and ankle joints, often resulting in catastrophic ligament tears and broken bones. The move was so notoriously dangerous that it was officially banned from judo competition in 1980, a high-profile incident where legendary judoka Yasuhiro Yamashita had his leg broken by the move, served as a final, brutal example of its danger. Its legacy is one of pure, joint-destroying effectiveness, making it forbidden in nearly all grappling sports. Number 4 takes us to the Philippines, home of the blade-focused arts of Kali, Arnis, and Eskrima. The forbidden element here isn't a single move, but a combat philosophy that was brutally suppressed, the art of dual-wielding blades. While fighting with 2 weapons exists elsewhere, Filipino Kali developed it into a terrifyingly efficient system of fluid, overwhelming attacks that were nearly impossible to defend against. This skill was honed during centuries of conflict, particularly during the Spanish colonization. Filipino warriors became so feared that the Spanish eventually banned the carrying of blades to try and crush the local resistance and their deadly arts. The most effective forms of dual blade fighting were reserved for life-or-death combat, taught only to trusted practitioners. The secret wasn't just holding 2 swords. It was the intricate footwork and timing that made one warrior fight like a whirlwind of steel. At number 3, we have a kick that looks deceptively simple, but hides a history of devastating power, the Tsumasaki Geri, or toe kick. Found in traditional Okinawan karate, this isn't your typical front kick. Instead, it's delivered with the hardened tip of the big toe, turning the foot into a spear aimed at soft, vital targets like the solar plexus or groin. Mastering this kick required years of brutal conditioning, with practitioners repeatedly striking their toes against hard surfaces to strengthen the bone. While legends from Okinawa tell of masters who could incapacitate an opponent with a single blow, the kick is rarely practiced today for a very practical reason: the high risk of injury to the attacker. You're far more likely to break your own toe than score a point, making this formidable weapon a forgotten relic of a more brutal era. Coming in at number 2 is not a single technique, but a whole philosophy of fighting so savage it was almost lost to history. The animal-inspired techniques of arts, like Cambodian Bokator and Hawaiian Kapu Kuyalua. These arts don't just use animal names for moves. They embody the savage functionality of predators. Bokator, meaning pounding a lion, features techniques that mimic crocodiles and eagles to break bones and dislocate joints. Kapu Kuyalua, the secretive art of Hawaiian royal warriors, was similarly focused on bone breaking and joint manipulation, and its teachings were guarded so closely that it was rarely seen by outsiders. These arts weren't banned worldwide, but were suppressed or hidden. The ancient art of Bokator was nearly exterminated during the Khmer Rouge regime when its masters were executed. This deadly knowledge only survived through clandestine teaching and is now thankfully undergoing a revival. Finally, at number 1, we have a move born not in Asia, but in the gritty, no-holds-barred world of European catch-as-catch-can wrestling, the Piledriver. The mechanics are terrifyingly simple. You turn your opponent upside down and drive them head first into the ground. Performed correctly, it's a showstopper. Done incorrectly, it's a career ender. The move has a nasty reputation for causing severe neck and spinal injuries. Its danger was famously highlighted when a botched Piledriver broke Stone Cold Steve Austin's neck in 1997, an injury that shortened one of wrestling's biggest careers. Because of the massive risk involved, the classic Piledriver and many of its variations are now banned in most major wrestling promotions, making it a truly forbidden finishing move. From the anatomical precision of Dim Mak to the bone-snapping force of the Piledriver, these techniques are the forbidden chapters of martial arts history. They were banned, hidden, and feared for a reason. They remind us that behind the sport and discipline, these arts began with the brutal necessity of survival. While we may train for health or competition, these secrets from the shadows show a different side of combat, one that is raw, unforgiving, and absolutely deadly. The world of martial arts is vast, and its most dangerous secrets often teach us the most about the line between a fighter and a warrior. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found this as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, stay safe.